Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this past week's trades and the weekly recap. Before I get into the recap, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you've done so already. I did finish the week with 11 wins and 2 losses for a win rate of 84.62%. It's actually the exact same win rate as last week. I mean, yeah, 2 weeks in a row that's happened, huh? I don't think I've had 2 weeks in a row with the same win rate, and it's kind of weird. But anyways, yeah, you might hear some background noise. The boy is awake in the background, and he's kind of watching TV all low, so you might hear him yelp every once in a while. He starts getting vocal. So with that said, I'll just start with the trade ideas on the 10th. Let's see, the 10th is the SPY puts under 532.50, which is the 10th is right here. I'll blow it up. Right here is the low from pre-market low. I didn't take anything until 10 o'clock. I've been, like, the last couple weeks, the first half an hour has been kind of trappy, fake outs, especially on Mondays. So Mondays, I kind of like to wait the first half an hour. I'll get a little more daring throughout the week, but Monday, I don't know what it is about Mondays. Mondays, I don't do well in the first trade on Mondays. There's more traps, there's more tricks, there's more crap. So, but yeah, if I took puts right here at the open range breakdown in the first 20 I would have got a little bit of a play, but ended up being a fake out. So, but when it did break higher day right here at 10 o'clock, I did take the 53.45 calls at 550, and they went from 550 to 670. So you get a little bit of a play, not too much. Then it just went crazy, and I was not chasing that. I wasn't gonna try to call a top on the day. I was just waiting and waiting and waiting, and then I did take puts at 1 o'clock, which is right here. I see why I did it right here. You get like a little bit of a pennant right here, but it's a bullish pennant, but it didn't break higher day, and I was using the blow it up a little more. I was using the body of this candle and the lows of these wicks right here. So basically underneath 534.70 is when I was taking it, and when it's broke below that, I took puts. I took the 53.50 puts at 510, and they went from 510 to 650. So you get a dollar plus play on that. So then it just went crazy right here, and I just didn't want no part of this, because this is just pure craziness. You don't know what the top's gonna be. If you hold for a big move, it just snaps the other direction on you. And I wasn't chasing this. And yeah, maybe if it broke high day, maybe I would have touched it, but I just don't know. But plus, VIX was, I think VIX was really low at that particular day. I'll have to look to see what it was on Monday, the 10th. Yeah, I think gapped it up a little bit right here. See, this is the thing they like to do, is they like to gap it up. So they gap it up and they sell it off. So it's exactly what they did. They gap it up, sell it off, gap it up, sell it off. It's pretty much what they like to do. And I just wasn't chasing that. To me, this was the play to have. And this, I mean, yeah, I could have taken that, but this candle was so massive. I probably would have been chasing it, and I probably wouldn't have been able to catch it, because this is a massive candle, and shorting a massive green candle like that is definitely not ideal either. So I just stayed out of it. So I only took 2 trades on that. It wasn't worth the risk, in my opinion. So trade ideas room on the 11th. I said SPY puts under 533.50, which is down here at this low, and just chopping right here after 9 o'clock, well, after 8:30, and the first 10-minute candle is red. I did not take puts, but I did take GME though. I'll pull GME up. I forgot I took that. On what day? The 11th, which is right here. I took it. Okay, yeah, the first trade of the day was I should have taken puts right here. I didn't. I don't know why. But anyways, I took GME 26 calls at 1022, which is right here on a pullback. It chopped and it finally took off. I mean, there was a huge. I posted last week, or someone posted in the room, and I mentioned it in the last week's watch list that the short sellers had a huge side. So I just bought calls, just with the fact that we might get a massive short squeeze, and we didn't really go anywhere on GME on Monday. It just dropped, so I wasn't gonna buy calls open because I talked about not the put the call ratio. Well, you could say put the call ratio, but the short sellers had a heavy position, and when there's too many shorts, they like to squeeze them out. And because it was red, I was not going to just buy willy-nilly calls because it's red. I just waited and waited and waited. I waited for it to actually have a green day. When it went green right here, I came back on the pullback. That's when I bought calls, and I just held it with the idea that maybe we'll get a massive short squeeze. And then eventually it did pop. It just took a little while, but I wasn't worried about it. I mean, I kind of figured we'd get some kind of a squeeze at some point. So I grabbed calls. I grabbed 26 calls at 350, and they went from 350 to 640 on that. So then I took SPY puts at 1117, which was right here. I think I took them underneath the 534 area. And I took the 5340 puts at $5. It popped up. I ended up stopping out. So yeah, that didn't work out. I'm not quite sure why I even grabbed it there. I mean, I think that what I was thinking at the point in time is 534 is wherever it broke, the opening candle's high was. So when it went above it and came back down, I was thinking that, maybe we will actually finally dump. We get underneath that area, and we started the job that it popped back up. So I don't know if I actually went green or if I held it and I stopped out over here. I don't really remember. I'd have to look on the exits to see where I actually got out on that. I got out at 1131. So I got out right in this candle. Okay, I should have been a little more patient. So it looks like I got here and went against me, and I stopped out when it made a new high a day, and then it quickly came back down. Yeah, so it was a loss I didn't really need to take. I probably could have got out green, but I ended up stopping out at 3, so it is what it is. And I took puts at 1143, so right here. So this is okay. I see what I did. So what I did was I bought puts here, stopped out, and it came back down. So when I've got beneath 534, I think 20 is where I grabbed it, 20-ish. I'll just say ish. I grabbed the 53.45 puts at 620, and they went from 620 to $9. So I went to closer to at the money with these puts right here. So that way I get a better move. So going from 620 to $9 is definitely a better move. Then it just made a big U-turn and just ripped. And SPY has been doing a lot of crazy stuff over this whole year. SPY has been kind of crazy. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen SPY this crazy at all. It's been kind of tough to trade. Even me being used to how it moves and stuff. There's a lot of manipulation going on this year. So yeah, it's tough to trade. So FOMC day, Trade Ideas Room. I don't think I posted anything in the Trade Ideas Room on FOMC. No, I didn't, because you get a huge candle right here, and there's really nothing to go off from it. I'm not going to tell people to grab calls over 542, even though if I did do that, that looks like that might have been the play to do. But to me, it's going up on inflation that's kind of a lie. They're saying inflation's in line, but everybody in their mother knows that inflation is not in line. It is up big time, and the only ones that think it's in line or going down are the idiots in Washington that are just trying to make their numbers look good. They don't have a clue. They probably don't even buy their own groceries. They probably don't do anything. and so they have no idea what it's like to what it's really costing and what it's doing to people. But so they live in a fantasy world. But anyways, I didn't think that saying calls over 542 after this massive pop, it was very worth the risk. So I didn't put anything out. I just left it. And when you have FOMC with Powell, SPX is expensive. It's not worth taking the risk. Usually FOMC days are boring and nothing usually happens. So I usually like to tell people in the room, just take the morning off, come back around 1:30 and play FOMC and be prepared for a busy last 2 hours. And that's what we did. So for the FOMC play, I took, let's see, I had a strangle for 5,400 puts at 650, and I had the 5,450 calls at 680. I stopped out of the calls at 650, so barely any red out of that. But the thing I want to point out is that FOMC was right here with the 12th. What day was it? Yeah, the 12th. You have FOMC and you have VIX at the low 12s. To me, that seems like a no-brainer. It's going to be a dump. When VIX is really close to 12 or low 12s or FOMC, usually it's a dump. I think, if I remember correctly, I had more puts than I had calls. So because of that, not that I was anticipating something to happen. I just when VIX is at 12 going into FOMC, I can't imagine it's going to break below 12. So what ended up happening was the 5,400 puts I got at 650 went to $12 on that dump right there. So usually the first move is usually the wrong one. I dumped the calls and I got rid of the puts. So like I said, I had the calls at 680 and I dumped the calls at 650. So I was definitely pleased about that. And actually, to tell you the truth, I sold the puts first, and I think I dumped the calls on this candle right here. And this is when Powell started speaking. Nothing was really happening right here. Then finally it popped and tried to make new high a day, but VIX was down here at 12. To me, I was not buying calls at new high a day because of that. So yeah, we get the FOMC play. We sold the puts into that massive drop, and when it popped back up, I dumped the calls. Powell was speaking. I was not having no part of that. I wanted to see puts underneath 471, or I wasn't touching it, or over 544, and it just chopped and chopped and chopped. Then when it started to steamroll up, I told people I was not going to take calls over high a day because VIX was at 12. And to me, I thought for sure that was going to be a fake out, and it ended up being a fake out. And I took puts, I believe, down here, right underneath 541.50-ish, or maybe under 542. I think I took it under 542. If I remember correctly, I think it was 542 is where I grabbed it. I grabbed the 54.30 puts at $8, and they went from $8 to 20. So yeah, I think I definitely got it up here closer. So to me, people that when you see these people online or on Twitter or social media saying, oh, you need to buy calls, you need to do this, SPY only goes up, and you gotta pay attention to VIX. VIX is at 12 or slightly below it. SPY is not going to pop. 90% of the time, when VIX is crushed to like really, really, really low, it's not going to pop. Because VIX is not a stock. It's a tool that measures volatility, and it's like a coiled spring. And when you compress the spring, the more you compress it, the more violent it gets. When it gets to the bottom of the spring, so the more it's compressed, the more violent it's going to be. So it only can be pushed down so far. The spring can. So, and that's how VIX is. VIX is a spring. And to me, right now, 12 is the bottom. And if it does get below 12, it gets quickly pushed back up afterwards. So as you can see right here, hit 12 and popped. Got below 12, then it popped right here. I mean, it did underneath it, but it popped did overnight, the next night. But see, this is very, very rare. When it stays under 12, it does pop. So That's why I was not taking calls over a higher day right here. VIX was the major and actually the only factor I used to taking puts. I was not taking calls. So that put play ended up being really well, and it was done for the day. So I had a good FOMC play, a good end of the day puts play, and that was it. I wasn't touching anything else. So now as far as the 13th, I said, what SPY puts into 542, which is down here at this low right here because it's going up. First 10 minute candles red. Did I take, oh, yeah, I did take next ORB. I took the 54.20 puts at 630, and they went from 630 to $9 in that drop right there. So that ended up being a good play. And then you get FU set up right here. I did not take that. I should have. I waited. I didn't take puts again until 11 o'clock, which is right here. I don't know why I did that here. Anyways, I did take puts right here. But yeah, I see. But the problem is it's getting bought. It's dropping, getting bought. It's dropping and getting bought. So I took a huge risk. This was the better play right here. But I took a huge risk. I bought when I made new lower day right here, which was kind of, yeah, the play worked out. I mean, I got the 5,400 puts at 580, and they went from 580 to 680. I got a dollar play out of that. Yay. I mean, the play worked, but to be honest, this play was kind of stupid. I probably should not have played that. I probably should have waited for this. And I used to love playing EMA rejections, but SPY, it doesn't like to reject the EMAs. It just likes to fly right through them or flush through them. And I went up to him and actually rejected. So when it came back down, this is where I should have played the puts right here, right when it broke below the 540 areas, right? 540.50 is. This is the area I should have played it. This. I did get a good play. I did get a dollar play out of it. I did get a win, but this was stupid and reckless. So I'm going to point it out. I'm going to call it what it is. It was kind of a dumb trade, but a win's a win. But that could have gone completely horribly wrong. And I mean, if you didn't sell it quick, it did go horribly wrong. So now the boy's talking. Then I took puts at 242, which is right here, and I went base right here, 242. Right here, right when it went below $12. This is where I grabbed it. And I grabbed the 54.30 puts at 520. And it kept going, and it kept going underneath this right here, underneath 12. So I added more at 310, making my new average 415. And I just ended up sitting and waiting underneath 12 for it to dump. And it didn't dump, and it just didn't do anything. So I was expecting an end of the day drop. Instead, they chopped it, and I ended up taking a loss on that. So that was not a good play. So that one kind of stung a little bit. So then on Friday, SPY puts under 549, which is down here, round number at this low. Pre-market, if you're unaware, when I make trade ideas rooms, the trade ideas play in the room, I make it with the nearest 50 cent or whole dollar. I don't like making exact dollar because there's too much volatility in the morning, and that's how I prefer to do it. So first play was at 11:20. I took calls. 11:20 was right here. No, right here when it broke higher day. This is where I grabbed it when it broke higher day. I took the 54.25 calls at 570. They went from 570 to 660. Not too much of a play. Then I took calls again at 12:10, which is right here when it got over the bodies and wicks of this candle of 541.50. I grabbed the 54.25 calls again at 530, and they went from 530 to 650. Then I grabbed all I played was the 54.25 calls 3 times. So the first time was right here, grabbed that one, dropped down, came back up, and took that play, came back down, it got back up. I didn't take it again. I probably should have took it again, but I waited and I played it again at 252, which is right here. Dropped down to VWAP, bounced up, dropped below the 20 EMA, and it came back up. So when it got below the 20 EMA and it got over this 542 area, that's where I grabbed it over the wick, and over the candles right here. So plus a round number. So I grabbed the 54.25 for the third time at 450, and they went from 450 to 630 right there. So ended up being a good play, and actually ended up being a good week minus the end of the day play on Thursday. So, but yeah, I was not expecting this to happen. I mean, if I only just bought puts the next day, what day was that right here? Yeah, if I bought puts the next day, because I bought them up here. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you can look back and see all the errors, but to me, at that particular time, it was under 12, and I was just expecting this kind of scenario to happen right here, but it didn't. So of course, it waited to the next day to carry through, and it had a monster rip on that, and it finally dropped. And I mean, it's part of trading. You're not going to win them all. I mean, so. With that said, that's it for the recap. I hope this has helped, and thanks for watching.